Hey y'all, it's Tasha with Pine Knot Family Farm. Welcome to the first garden tour of 2020. I'm excited to show it to y'all, even though there's not a lot going on right now. In 2 or 3 weeks from now, it is going to be booming. It is going to be so much different. We never really got a freeze, but it got really close to freezing. It was like down in the mid 30s. May 12th, so just a week or so ago. Things were just not taking off very well. Luckily, all my tomatoes that I already planted, they survived. They're looking good and healthy. Every time I got some tomatoes in the ground, it would come a downpour right afterwards. So they have thrived and survived through a whole lot of weather circumstances so far. A lot of the stuff that I have direct sowed is not coming up yet, or 1 out of 20 beans will come up. And I think a lot of that is due to the cold weather that we've been having, which is very unusual, and all the rain that we've been having. Did y'all see that rain gauge? That was 1 inch, and I dumped it yesterday. It had 1 inch in it yesterday as well. So I think everything that I'm direct sowing is just saturating and rotting in the ground, the seeds. I'm going to give it a few more days. We're supposed to have a 5-day forecast of hot weather that's no rain. So I'm hoping things finally start to take off. It's pretty muggy out here right now, but I want to show you what I've got started this year. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you caught my garden tours last year, you'll notice a few things that are different. We've added a couple of things, and I'm excited to show y'all. I am in Northeast Arkansas, growing zone 7B. The rest of my plant starts that I really don't have any space for. So I've just kind of been coming out here every day and sticking a pepper or a tomato in the ground somewhere. I really planned out my garden well this year, I would say, and did nothing like the plan was. You were here during the garden tours last year. My arch trellis was over here on this side, and the tomatoes were over here. So I've flip-flopped that around this year. My tomatoes had stayed in this spot for a couple of years, so I wanted to rotate them somewhere else and see how they do this year. And we've also added a second cattle panel, so we've got 2, and these actually aren't cattle panels. These are concrete wire. We are in the concrete business, so this is stuff that we have laying around, excess pieces or stuff that got used for something, and it's just recycled. So all along the cattle panel on both sides, I have got rattlesnake beans and Kentucky Wonder pole beans. And you can see I just have 1 out of all those that has come up. I'm going to give these beans a couple of more days. Like I said, we got some warm weather coming in and no rain. So I'm going to give them another chance to pop up. But probably after 2 days, I'm going to start reseeding all these in the ground again. The back part of the arch trellis over here, I don't have anything planted there yet. I was holding off till after the rain. So in the next couple of days, we'll get those planted as well. I am thinking I'm going to attempt to grow cantaloupes. I've never grown cantaloupes on an arch trellis before. Usually at the back of the garden back there, we use that for cantaloupes and watermelons. We don't grow just a whole lot of them. We just grow a few for us to eat. But as y'all know, if y'all have done that before, they take up a lot of real estate in the garden. So I'm probably still going to do the watermelons back there, but I'm going to experiment with the cantaloupes here, and I know that I'll have to get some kind of like a bag or something to hold them in when they get so big. The little mesh net produce bags that are fairly inexpensive, so I will find some of those or find some way once they get a certain size, but we won't have to worry about that for a while. But that's going to be one of my experiments for this year. And if it works and they grow well on here, that will free up so much space. Right past the arch trellises, I have got some squash. I've got 3 plants growing here. Lemon squash from Baker's Creek, and I planted that for the first time last year and love the lemon squash. And then the traditional crookneck. All 3 of these plants were started in the greenhouse and transplanted out here. That's my first time. Normally I direct sow the squash. I gave it a chance this year. They have survived through all the crazy weather that we've had. And then once these get pretty big and established, I will direct sow a couple more on past there, so that way I'll continuously have a supply of squash. Got some blooms. already on here. We've got a little bit of powdery mildew on the leaves, and I'm thinking that's just from all the rain. So if you'll notice, I have these probably 6 to 7 feet apart. The reason I have these so far apart, if you watched my videos last year, I had a couple of squash plants that got huge. I wanted to give these plenty of room just so they're not intertwining with anything else. So I leave quite a bit of room in my garden. I got 22 tomato plants. I had 45 last year, so I've downsized quite a bit on the tomatoes. I didn't do any paste tomatoes this year. They're all really just slicers. We skip a row though in between. So on that back row, there's nothing back there. We can pull that plastic back, and that's where my okra will go. As y'all all know, okra really likes hot weather. So I haven't seen any point in putting it in the ground yet. I'll probably do that within the next week or two. And even if I would have had it in there, it wouldn't grow very fast. So I can direct sow it in a couple of weeks, and it's going to catch up to what it would if I would have already put it in the ground. And once again, the ground has just been so wet. So the okra will take off whenever it gets hot, and until then it just kind of hangs out. So we've got the tomatoes, and then we've got a row skipped, and then more tomatoes and a row skipped. We tried this for the first time last year, and it actually worked out really well, because before that we were just planting them row beside row, and the tomatoes were intertwining with each other. And if any of you live in the South, you know that the humidity is terrible, and when the tomatoes get all bunched up, they can't get any good airflow. And I am not the best at pruning my tomatoes. I know a lot of people do prune them. I don't have the time to prune them, so I choose not to most of the time. I tried a couple of last year, and for all the tomato plants that I had, it would have been hours and hours that I just do not have. I wish I had the time to do nothing but devote to the homestead and the garden, but we also run a construction company, and I have a lot of office work to do and the kids to take care of, so I can't always get to this stuff. These are all ones that I started. I think there's one that I bought at a nursery because I wanted to try it, but all the rest of these were started under grow lights and transferred out to my greenhouse. And they are looking really good, y'all. These two are millionaires, and these two are Henderson pink ponderosas. The next we've got are beefsteak, and these two are blue cream. Two beefsteak, and these two are homestead. More beefsteak on this side, and we've got two money makers over here. This is the one that I picked up at the store. It's a super sweet 100, and that will be the only one that did not get grown here. And another beefsteak. So lots of new varieties to experiment with here this year. I've still got quite a bit of tomatoes canned in the pantry, so I wanted to experiment with these. I probably do need to make some more salsa and tomato juice and stuff like that, and the slicers are fine for that. I experimented last year with the Cherokee purple, Brandywine, and there was a couple of other ones. Those just did not do good here. And with the Arkansas humidity, some things do better than others. So a lot of these varieties, like the pink ponderosa and the homestead, moneymaker, millionaire, those are all new ones to me this year. Gonna experiment, see how they do. There's so many different varieties of tomatoes out there to try, and it's fun to get to try different ones every year. Last year I done a lot of paste tomatoes, Amish paste. They done really well here. I didn't put any paste tomatoes in this year, just due to, like I said, I have a whole lot of stuff canned. I may do some late ones, I'm not sure yet. I've still got some spaces to fill up in the garden, lots of different things to choose from, so I'm sure in the next couple of weeks it will be full. And we have got 4 long rows of beautiful corn. If you was with us here last year, you know that after building this beautiful 8-foot tall fence, we had about 350 ears of corn on the ground from the raccoons. So even with the 8-foot tall fence, we ended up having to put a hot wire at the very top of this. So I'm excited to get some corn this year. we actually went to the lake a couple weekends ago and we discovered a bag of corn, 4 ears of corn left in the freezer from year before, and that stuff is still good. Like, I vacuum seal it, I leave it on the shuck and vacuum seal it, and it tasted good after 2 years. We were so excited to find that last bag of corn, so we cannot wait for all this to come in. There's nothing better than some fresh garden corn. I have got G90 candy corn and peaches and cream planted in here, along with some little baby corn that I got from M.I. Gardener. Like when you go to the salad bars at restaurants and you see the little baby corn you can put in your salad, I thought those were so neat. So I ordered some of them from him this year. I've got about 20 of them, and then it just continues with G90. So this is probably one of the things that we are the most excited about in the garden this year, is getting to put up some fresh corn. We have always had this raised bed. This is a new addition this year, so it allowed me to do the arch trellis from one side to the other. It is weedy right now. There is so many weeds because we've had so much rain. I've got to go get some dry straw and start mulching this really well. I didn't want to do it too early because I want my plants to get established and seedlings to start to come up and stuff like that. Nothing gets covered up with straw, so that's why nothing is mulched real heavy through here yet. Just weedy. We've got 2 eggplants. I have never tried or ate eggplants before, so this is new for us. Got some marigolds starting to come up right here. Scarlet runners, you can see they're just, I've been coming out here and kind of training them, pulling them through, guiding them, show them where they need to go. And it will be no time and they will be all the way up here. And I've got some more started right here. Got some butterhead lettuce, really pretty right now. I had a ton of broccoli and cabbage and stuff in the garden, and it was looking beautiful. And we got probably about the 1st of April, we got like a week to 10 days of 85+ degree weather, and then it cooled back off again. Everything bolted. So you'll see some cabbage and some broccoli. This lettuce is getting pretty bitter at this point. All this stuff, I'm coming down here every day and pulling a little bit of it out and feeding it to the pigs and the chickens. So little by little, it's just getting pulled out and getting replaced with something else. When you live in the South, the cool weather crops are always a gamble because it could be almost 90 degrees in April here, or it could be snowing. Down this side, I have got a couple of pink eye purple whole peas that my friend Anna at Minzy's Garden gave me, and they're come up. They just got a really slow start, so they should take off pretty soon. Another new addition to the garden. So we had the windmill here last year, but we have added a raised bed, kind of a raised bed, makeshift one. We needed that anchored down, and I got the idea that I wanted to try to grow some sunflowers where they kind of weave in and out of it this year. It's an experiment. It may work and look beautiful, and it may not work at all. But that's what I had in my mind that I wanted to give a try. So we made this raised bed. These 3 pieces of wood down here at the bottom are from the tornado that come through a month or so ago. We done a lot of the cleanup. So these are actually the poles that cross over, like on the electrical pole that makes the T at the top that the wires run through. So you can see the holes right here where the wires would run through. We reclaim, recycle a lot of stuff. And with the general contracting that we do, we have that availability that we get a lot of stuff like this, that they just want it cleared off. They don't care what we do with it. They just want it. We get paid to pick it up, and we bring it here and it gets put to great use, which saves us a lot of money. We laid some of this black fabric. We'll not do anything besides the raised beds here. I will not do anything in the ground without putting this DeWalt Sunbelt ground cover down again. It is worth every penny. I know a lot of y'all have asked about it. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Y'all, this stuff lasts for at least 5 years. It is what it says on the description, and I believe that it will last longer than that. So we've got everything from 3-foot wide rows to 15-foot wide rows. We left it down all winter last year, pulled it up. Everything was dead underneath it. The dirt was beautiful. We tilled it up and put it down again. This stuff is a lifesaver. We used to spend every weekend just hoeing and hoeing the garden, and not no more, we don't have to. This is just some volunteer flowers that come from last year. Got 2 Aunt Molly's ground cherries, and these are all Nebraskas that need pulled out. It is starting to rain, so I'm gonna have to speed this up. We've got some nasturtiums here in the raised bed, all kinds of peppers, just all kinds. Jalapenos, paprika peppers. We've got sugar rush, orange horizon bell peppers, notapinos. Over here, this is our potato bed from last year. These are volunteer potatoes that come up, so I really didn't want to disturb them. This is just a piece we had cut off from the in-ground garden over there. I had extra, so I put this on here, and I have got some gherkins, or the Mexican sour cucumbers, and I'm gonna let those grow up on each side of that, and just let these potatoes do their thing. I don't have anything planted here yet. Got some zinnias coming up. Here's a couple tomatoes I stuck in there. We got sugar rush. And you see how little those peppers are? I mean, look at that. They are itty bitty. We've got some green onions. Look at that, y'all. Already got some blooms on it. And these 2 were planted at the same time. And this one's just a lot farther behind. I need to get a cage on it. More orange bell peppers. I mean, you can tell the difference in the height of these. Just some of them are just taking off, and little bitty ones back there are not. These are jalapenos. I got some notapinos from Baker's Creek, and then I picked up some jalapenos when I picked up that tomato. And coral bell sweet, and it's not looking too pretty. I have fertilized it, so I'm just hoping it comes through. A bit of rosemary and oregano. My lemon balm, I have harvested this twice already this year. We've got some marigolds coming up here in the middle of our peppers. I've got some more sugar rush peppers right here. These are just some cabbage. I mean, you can see how pretty these cabbage was. They just never made a head. I mean, they started to form a little bit right there, but just never did because of the weather. We got some AJI pineapple pepper. And more volunteer flowers, more nasturtiums, loofah gourds. They're just now starting to take off a little bit. Lots and lots of peppers. It is raining. It's starting to rain pretty hard. I thought the rain was over for the day. It's rained all day yesterday and all day today. So all weekend it's rained. I thought we were done with that, but we're not. So I'm gonna show y'all the hotbeds. So if you've seen the last video, we built some hotbeds, and I had the broccoli in them. I wish I would have took a picture because they done so good, but like I said, the hot weather caused them to bolt. But we've got all kinds of peppers, and we've got some Aunt Molly's ground cherry tomatoes started in here. We've got some more sugar rush. Here's my sweet potato slips. I had this door closed at first, and everything germinated really well in here. We've got some more green bell peppers that I picked up at the store. Here is the cabbage. Look how beautiful that looks, and it just never took off. We've got some lettuce, and this is all available to plant some stuff in it. Real quick right here, we've got some asparagus. This is the first year asparagus. Here's my broccoli that bolted. I'm gonna save those for seeds. A few more cabbage and lettuce that will be pulled up for the animals. And garlic. Should be another month and those will be ready to harvest. I pulled up a weed beside them today and it pulled up a big clump, and I got a sneak peek of the garlic and they looked huge and beautiful, so I just covered it up really quick. This is gonna wrap up this video. I've enjoyed the garden tour. I'm sorry that it got cut a little short. There was a couple other things I wanted to show you, but Mother Nature is at it again. So y'all have a great one, and until the next video, God bless.